Joining us on the line now is Mindy Paul. He's a business mentor, coach and podcaster who strives to help others work less and earn more. Welcome to the show, Mindy.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's great to have you. I've been enjoying reading a bit about your story and your background because it's really interesting, and I love how kind of proud you are of your success, and you really teach your children and encourage your children to also be proud, which I think is great.
Yeah, thank you. It's really important. You know, a lot of people, when there's so much about money, you know, so many people feel ashamed of wanting money, having money. And I think it's sad because we all need money, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. And explain how you kind of got money then, because I know it's from quite a few different ways. You've had various businesses throughout your life, but you've worked hard for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been in a lot of different industries over the years. I started my first real business when I was about 19. But here's the thing. I would make money, I'd get so far, and I would lose money. And regardless of what industry that I was in, I'd see this pattern. And I started to actually doubt myself. Hey, listen, there must be something wrong with me. Maybe God doesn't want me to be successful, or whatever. Maybe it's not for me. And I had this persistence. I just wanted to be successful. I wanted to become wealthy so I can give my family a better life. And a friend of mine says to me, Mindy, you need a mentor. I'm like, what's a mentor? It sounds like a Mentos of sweets, right? Because a mentor is someone who's doing the things that you want to do. They teach you their success principles and you follow them. So I went out on a search, looking for a mentor, found the first one. He was a con man, lost a lot of money. But I was given a book called Think and Grow Rich and the movie The Secret. Yeah. And in that movie The Secret, maybe have you seen that?
Yeah.
So there was a guy named Bob Proctor in there. And something about Bob spoke to my heart, my soul. And I thought, if anyone can help me, it's this guy. Now, Bob Proctor, he passed away a couple of years ago. And I always admired him. I always listened to his stuff. And a lot of it started making sense. Like, we hear about you become what you think about. So I realized that my way wasn't working. I ended up in a lot of debt, 65 grand's worth of debt, ended up on my deathbed. And cut a long story short, I was in hospital for 2 weeks. And one thing that I've always wanted to do was like go meet Bob Proctor. And I didn't know I could meet him. I ended up at one of his events and I actually get to speak to him. There was like 400 or 500 people there. He's like a celebrity. He's like your Mike Tyson if you're into boxing. Mm-hmm. And he spoke to me. We had a quick chat. I said, Bob, can I just have 5 minutes with you? This is in LA. And I spoke to him 2 weeks later. One of his salespeople rings me up. He goes, you spoke to Bob Proctor, didn't you, at the event? I said, yeah. He goes, well, he wants to speak to you. I was like, no way.
Wow.
And I had these shivers like 10:20 at night. And he said, if I get Bob Proctor on Skype, will you talk to him? This is when we used to use Skype. I said, yeah, of course I will. Damn. I'm waking up my wife. Look, Bob Proctor's going to call me. She's like looking at me like I've been drinking. Next minute, Skype comes on. And there's Bob Proctor. And I had about a 20-minute conversation with Bob. And he says, listen, your way isn't working, right? So why don't you try my way? Until you know that I'm lying or I don't know what I'm talking about, do exactly as I say. So he invites me out to spend some time with him in Toronto. So I spent some time with him at his house and I told him all the stuff. And he says, look, Mindy, tell me what you want. I said, I want to earn some money. How much money? I was like, 10,000. If I could earn 10,000, I'm the king of the jungle, right? So he goes, is that what you really want? I said, no, I really want more. I want 80,000, but it scares me. He goes, why does it scare you? He goes, look, if you really want it, you listen to everything I tell you to do and you do it. And I come back to England and I start to implement some of Bob's coaching. And all of a sudden, I remember like money started to flow to me from my current businesses, which were stuck. I had another business which I was trying to sell. No one wanted it. Had it advertised for like 2 years. And within a week, I had about 4 people like reach out to me asking me for my business. I'm like, this is a bit weird. Is this one of my friends winding me up? I managed to sell that business for 6 times the amount that I had it advertised for. I thought, hang on, something's going on here.
Gosh.
And Bob really taught me about how you actually, we have this power inside of us. And a lot of people use the power against them. But when you do it in a certain way, success, like when you talk about the laws of success, it's like a recipe. If you want to bake an apple pie, you've got to follow the steps, right? You've got to follow the exact ingredient. And there's an ingredient to success. And all you got to do is follow it. There's certain principles that you must adhere to. And once you start to do that, things start to change. You start to attract different people. You get onto different frequencies. We're living in a world, it's an ocean of motion. We think on frequency. Have you noticed some people just seem to attract bad luck?
Yeah.
Things just get bad from bad to worse. There's always someone's always in debt, constant debt. Someone's always ill. Always got to cover. Now, here's the thing. We can all change that if we're willing to understand, hey, listen, these are my results, right? Most people live with their current results and look at their past results, but you are not your result. You're an expression of how you've used your mind in the past. The world we live in today, like, let's talk about your bank account. It's a reflection of how you've used your thinking, how you use your mind. And until we alter that, nothing else changes.
So give us some examples, give us some tips, because it all sounds too good to be true. It sounds kind of easy, doesn't it? But I'm assuming it's not.
Well, that's another thing. That's a negative belief as well. They always say, like, hey, listen, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So you get an opportunity. It sounds too good to be true, but you listen to that voice like, hey, this can't really happen. It's too good to be true. Like me working with Bob, I had to pay him a lot of money. So I'll give you an example. In general, people are great at focusing on the negatives of life. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's good and bad in everything, right? So every morning, if we wake up and we get a pen and paper and we write down like 10 things that we're grateful for that we have in our life, we take a lot of things for granted. Like on my gratitude list in the morning, something as simple as I'm so grateful that I woke up in a warm house, that I've got food in the fridge. I've got a wardrobe of clothes. I've got milk in the fridge, just something so basic. Yeah. Now, once we can start focusing on all the good that we've got, we can only attract more good to us. If we focus on all the bad stuff that's going on, if you're in business, you're in debt, your finances all over the place. And if that's all you think about, if your goal is to get out of debt, you'll never get out of debt because you're focused on debt. So you'll attract more debt. Is this making sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So do you think it makes a huge difference doing these gratitude lists every day? Is that something you do every day?
Every day. But here's the thing. You don't just do it in the morning. You've got to practice that throughout the day. You don't just write out some gratitude in the morning, feel good for 5 minutes and go by the rest of your day feeling down in the dumps. You've got to start to practice. You've got to become aware of all the good that you've got around you.
Yeah. So you obviously have helped lots of other people do this, because I was having a look on your website and there are some, fantastic testimonials from people whose businesses have literally turned around by following your principles. So I believe you, it works.
Well, yeah. Look, if you look at people like Conor McGregor, they talk about manifesting the law of attraction, right? You look at Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson. There's a lot of celebrities out there that have been using this for many years. But the thing is, you get people that study a few books, okay? They'll get a bit of information from here, a bit of information from there. They'll become a coach and they'll start to like put this out there. I'm a manifestation coach, a king, queen, unicorn, or whatever. They don't know what they're talking about. So they get other people to follow them and they start to apply what doesn't work. So what happens is, well, that stuff is all woo-woo, but it's not woo-woo. We teach at a very high level. I've got clients of mine that own law firms, heart surgeons, other people that coaches, consultants, all sorts of industries that we've helped. But at a very high level, we have a very thorough and deep understanding of how it all works.
Yeah. And are you teaching your kids all of this then as well?
Amazing. So my daughter, she's turned 12 and she wanted a mobile phone. And I said, I'm not going to get you a mobile phone, but I'll do you a deal. If you go and make £1,000, right, in 30 days, her and her brother, I said £1,000 each, I'll get you a phone, right, and you pay me back the line rental. So my daughter goes and she earns £400 in 2 weeks.
By doing what?
She gets on eBay, she gets on Vinted, sells some of her old clothes, some old toys, asks me, Daddy, have you got anything that you need to sell? And like she accumulated like nearly $500 in about 3 weeks. And she has no business experience, right? And she's so driven every single day. She's looking at her bank balance, but she understands the importance of money. I don't spoil my kids. I teach them the principles. Hey, listen, if you want this, you've got to give up this and you've got to do this. I'm embedding that right earlier on in age.
Yeah, I love the idea of your money shower, because I was reading an article. I want you to tell us about that, because it reminded me of something I did once with my dad. So tell us about your story and then I'll tell you mine.
Sure. Amazing. Can't wait to hear yours. So I remember when I started working with Bob, and I remember earning £9,000 in one day. Okay. Started my coaching business and I got 3 clients that joined me, close friends. They all paid me in cash. And I came home. My daughter was about 2 or 3 at the time. My son was 5. And they were both sitting on the floor. My parents were there as well. And I said, kids, here's some money. Here's some money. I'm trying to get them accustomed to money. And I had like these £50 notes, £20 notes, a big bundle, nearly 10,000. We start chucking it in the air. Up, and we said, let's have a money shower. And my kids, I remember them, they're throwing the money up in the air. Money shower, money shower. And my parents were looking at me like, what are you teaching these kids? What are you doing? I just wanted to get them accustomed to money, showing them that, you know what, it rains money. There's a lot of money around. I didn't want them to have like poor beliefs of lack, limitation. There isn't enough to go around. I want something. Where's the money going to come from? And we've got a healthy relationship with money now.
Yeah, that's great.
There's another part of that, sorry. And then at the end of the money shower, I got my kids to start bundling up the money, put the 5s together, the 10s together, the 50s together, the 20s together. So they start to respect money and start to take care of the money. That was the other important part of that.
Yeah, nice. Mine was just that I was, how old would I have been? I suppose 19 at the time. And I was in a job where I did really well and was paid cash and had a certain amount of money. And my parents came out to stay with me. I was living abroad at the time. And I owed them a few £100 because they'd helped me out for something. So I basically pulled out a wad of cash from my clothes drawer and said, oh, this is the money that I owe you, and this is for, and I want to pay for your flights as well, and I just kind of kept counting all these bits of money, and my mum was saying, no, please don't give us all that, don't leave yourself short. I said no, and pulled out another wad of cash, and I said, and it's payday tomorrow, and
there's more coming.
Yeah, and my dad and I sat on the bed and we threw this money in the air, and my mum got a great photo of my dad and I sitting next to each other on the bed with this money shower. It was brilliant.
So we both had money showers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd encourage other people to do this with their kids, with themselves. You know, even if money's a bit short, just before you go to bed at night, just get some money out, even if it's $100, $200, and just tell yourself, you know what, there's plenty of this in my life. This money flows to me with fun, ease, and speed.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the whole thing about the importance of cash as well, because, you know, there's a lot of talk, a lot of scaremongering that, you know, we could end up losing cash and everything will be digital. And I think that would be awful for so many reasons. So it's really good to be using cash and getting kids used to using cash as well.
Yeah, I really feel sorry for today's kids, like, you know, because when we grew up, all we had is pocket money, right? Now you have a bank transfer. It's not the same, is it?
No, absolutely not. And also to get them to, as you say, understand and respect money. And instead of just looking at numbers on a computer screen, being able to handle it physically and understand the different colour of all the different notes and what they're worth and what you can buy with it. It helps kids to understand it more, I think.
Well, yeah, that as well. And obviously counting, right? Like if everything's digital, you don't need to count anything anymore, do you?
No. No, exactly.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Your pocket money, you know, I've got $20 and if I spend like £4.75, this is how much I've got left. So that's important.
Yeah, for sure.
We're depriving like the future generations. And, I always spend cash. I use cash everywhere I can. A lot of places are cashless societies, right? We only accept card. I'm like, well, I won't use you then. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you written a book, Mindy? Because if you haven't, you should.
You know what? Funny you should ask. We've actually written the book, but we haven't released it. But we will be releasing it, I think, next year. I've written it about a year ago.
Okay.
So that's going to come out, and it's got a really cool title. We haven't finalized the title. I can't even tell you what it is. I really want to tell you, but I can't.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Well, please let us know when it comes out, because it'll be lovely to chat with you again, and we can talk about the book.
Oh, 100%. That's great. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. You know, I want to educate as many people as possible. Like, hey, listen, money's not bad. I always say, like, if money's so bad, why do churches and other religious organizations ask for donations? Why do we donate if it's so bad? Why do people want pay rises? Be happy with what you've got. Don't be greedy. They say.
No, it's very true. And so many people have a bad relationship with money, don't they? And often it comes from childhood. You know, if you've struggled with money or see your parents struggling with money, and the whole idea, depending on the generation, you know, going back to the war days and scrimping and saving and make do and mend and all these phrases to do with, you know, not having much money, it can affect people for the rest of their lives, can't it?
You tell someone who relies on the food bank to feed their kids that money's not important. You tell that person that the money is the root of all evil. Maybe the lack of money is the root of all evil. You know, we hear these like terms and stuff. We have a misconception. We misunderstand the meaning behind these things, and it becomes just like a buzzword. You share it, and it conditions people.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's, you know, phrases like money can't buy happiness, things like that. I mean, that is true, but at the same time, it does give you more choice. So it's all a choice. It's all a choice how people handle it. That's the point. You know, there are obviously plenty of people out there who are extremely wealthy who maybe aren't happy in their relationships and maybe aren't nice people. And I think, you know, it's easy to look at people with money and assume that, oh, they've got everything they want, so they must be happy. So it's, you know, we see these different situations, and it's I think the point is that it's not always about the money necessarily. It's about the person, and it's about the mindset. And if you have the right mindset to earn the money and to keep the money, and you've got the right mindset in terms of what you do with the money, then we're all good.
I totally agree with that. And on the other side of that, look at how many people that are on the breadline in poverty. Are they happy? Are their relationships perfect? No one is. You can have someone who's wealthy, who's going through the same pains as someone who's broke. Their relationships suck. Their health sucks. You know, but what are you going to do about it? That's the question. Are you going to sit there and complain about it, or are you going to take some action?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're really creating this beast mode movement, right? This beast mode movement about moving people into their best version of themselves, earning all sorts of money, living their best life, because we only get one chance at life as far as we know. So why live in regret? Why live in the past?
Definitely. Oh, some great messages there. Thanks, Mindy Paul. Thank you for joining us. If listeners want to be inspired, they should definitely check out your website. Just tell people what it is.
Well, the best way to get hold of me, check out what we're doing, is at Mindy Paul on Instagram. My website's mindypaul.com. But the Insta is probably the best one, where you see all the fun stuff that we're doing, the clients' results and inspiration.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, thanks, Mindy.
Thank you.
Lovely to chat with you. And please do keep in touch. Let us know when your book's out.
Thank you very much for inviting me on.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mindy. Take care. Bye-bye.